Good morning, Shavua Tov, Agotavach. Thanks for tuning in to the Kehillat Sharei Torah Halacha Minute for Sunday, November 29th. We spent some time last week, couple of days at the end of last week, talking about a few customs of Hanukkah, latkes, donuts, and all that. Let's look in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch now for a couple days. We are getting close. We're just a few days away from Hanukkah. So let us quickly run through the laws of Hanukkah just to remind ourselves. Always good to review the halachas before the holiday begins. So Kitzur Shulchan Aruch gives a long paragraph telling us basically the Hanukkah story that we know from the Gemara, from other places. Let's just run through quickly and try to summarize some of the main points. The story of Hanukkah took place in Second Temple times. The Greek kingdom was in power under controlling the land of Israel, and they put a lot of harsh decrees against the Jewish people that were supposed to put an end to our religion. Remember, they were not trying to destroy us bodily. That didn't bother them, but our religion was what bothered them. They didn't allow us to learn Torah. They didn't want us to do mitzvahs, particularly certain mitzvahs. They plundered our property. They did take liberties with Jewish women. They went into the temple. They violated, didn't respect the temple's sanctity, brought defiling things there. And the Jewish people were in time of great distress. God took Rahmanas on us, took pity on us, and delivered us from that and rescued us. What happened? The Chashmonaim, the sons of the Kohen Gadol, declared war on these Assyrians and killed them and delivered the Jewish people from their rule. We appointed as king one of the Kohanim, and the kingdom of Israel returned to power and endured for another couple hundred years until the destruction of the Second Temple. When the Jewish people triumphed over our enemies and destroyed them, which happened, the victory took place on or just before, maybe, according to some, the 25th day of Kislev. We're now in the what are we in, the 10th, 11th, 12th, 14th, 15th or so, right in the middle of Kislev, so right around that time of year. We went into the temple and we found, of course, as you well know, just one jar of pure oil that was left, still stamped with the COR. The seal of the Kohen Gadol. We needed to use pure oil in the temple to light the menorah in the temple. I guess the jugs were 1 day supply per. So there was only one of those. Miraculously, as we know, this oil for 1 day supply lasted 8 days, which was enough time to go and crush more olives and extract more oil. Why did it take 8 days? Is an interesting topic of conversation. Maybe it took 8 days to become pure. Maybe it took 8 days to actually go and get it. In any case, the sages of the generation made this into a special remembrance holiday. They said these 8 days, beginning on the 25th of Kislev, going forward 8 days, should be days of rejoicing and praise. We kindle lights in the evening near the entrance to our house every night during these 8 nights to display, publicize, and reveal the miracle. They're called Chanukah, which is the one way to read that word is Chanu, Chaf, Hey. They rested. They stopped fighting on the 25th of Kislev. Another reason for Chanukah is it's related to the word dedication. Chanukat Habayit, Chanukas Habayis is rededicating the temple. That's another name for it. And others say that we should, it's a mitzvah to have a little bit more to eat. You don't have to have a festive meal like you do on Shabbos or Yom Tov with lechem mishnah, with challahs and all that, like we talked about the last couple of weeks. But to have a little bit extra to eat is a good thing, good remembrance, way to celebrate. Another reason for celebrating Hanukkah is that the constructing of the temple, the Mishkan, the tabernacle in the desert, was completed during these days, as we know from other places in the Torah. We should tell our families, and if it's just us at home, tell ourselves the story of Hanukkah that happened in those days. So again, we emphasize that the Hanukkah meal is not a Sudas mitzvah in itself, like Shabbos or Yom Tov is, unless you sing hymns and praises to Hashem during the meal, then it is a Sudas mitzvah. On Hanukkah, we should give tzedakah generously because the days of Hanukkah are auspicious for that, especially to support people who are engaged in Torah, which, if you remember from the beginning of this whole story, was one of the targets of oppression, was to stop people from learning Torah. So, if you're interested in learning more Torah, what better way to protest those who would oppress us than by getting them where they live and bringing more light of Torah into the world. We're not allowed to fast during Hanukkah. Some people used to fast during a yortzeit or on other occasions. The day before Hanukkah and after, we are allowed to fast and deliver a eulogy, and so on. We are also permitted to work. It's not a holiday in the sense of Shabbos and Yom Tif, but women follow the custom not to do any work at the time the Hanukkah lights are burning, and we should take that seriously. As we mentioned, the decrees of the Greeks were particularly harsh on Jewish women, even more than the entire Jewish people. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit more about some of these things. Please join us tomorrow. In the meantime, have a good day and a good